Today's Monday, July 29, 2024, 7 p.m., Veteran Room, Town of Southbridge, a joint protection of person and property subcommittee town council meeting. Call to order. Roll call. Councilor Ortiz.
Present.
Councilor Riva. Absent.
Filling in.
Councilor Shinya. Thank you. Agenda 3. Review, discuss the appointment of Dave Adam to the Protection and Person and Property Subcommittee for 1-year term effective immediately through June 30, 2025. State attic in good standing. Motion to recommend to Town Council for approval.
So moved.
So moved and second. Tony.
This is a town council appointment, not town manager.
You,
I don't give recommendations for the subject.
okay. All in favor? All in favor, good. So, agenda, first time doing meeting, you gotta
You're doing
be
fine.
patient. Agenda 4, review, discuss the appointment of Rolando Larochelle to the Protection and Personal and Property Subcommittee for 1-year term effective immediately through June 30, 2025. State attic in good standing. Motion to recommend to Town Council for approval.
So moved.
Second. Councilor Shinya and Councilor Ortiz second. Any discussion, anything? I just want to say thank you for Mr. LaRochelle stepping again. We're all in favor? 3-0. Agenda 5, review, discuss confirmation of the town manager appointment of Mitchell Robin of Mulberry, Mass. as a full-time firefighter for the town of Southbridge, effective immediately based up the fire chief recommendation pending successful completing of all medical and physical testing included passing state physical assessment test, PAT, background check, and state attic training. Entertain a motion to vote, recommend to town council for approval.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. So, now it's my turn.
Go ahead.
No, those appointments for council aren't mine, those are for the strictly council, but this is an appointment of the town manager for Mitchell Robbins. Mitchell had participated in the other process that we had when we hired the last firefighter. That list was good for a year. So we went off of the existing list that we had created that was per town council policy of establishing the list. We went down the list. Mitchell had done very well on that list. I had interviewed him previously for this position and found him very capable. And at this point, because of a member leaving to go to another community, based on the people that had put in to say that they were available, we're recommending Mitchell for the position. Very qualified. I'll turn it over to the chief for any further details.
Good.
Good evening, sir. Through the chair, Mitchell Robbins currently resides in Millbury, which is within our 15-mile residency requirement through the collective bargaining agreement. He is currently employed by the full-time by Millville Fire Department, way down the other side of the fire district. And he's also, on his off time, he responds to calls as a call department member for the Millbury Fire Department, where he currently is a call member there. Currently has his EMT certification and has obtained his firefighter 1-2 certification through the Call Vault Academy program. He will need to go to the full-time academy when he does become appointed. Personal and professional references have been already checked along with his background, are completed and in good standing. And again, like town manager said, I'd like to recommend Mitchell to be appointed to a full-time position.
Okay.
Chief, I think I've asked you this before, but somebody like this gentleman is already in the job, been there a couple of years, must have already done most of this training. Why do we have to go and send him to the academy if he's already been done?
So through the chair, Councilor Chenya, that this is in the collective bargaining agreement. It's part of the full-time, to be part of the full-time academy is their requirement. Even though they've already taken the firefighter 1-2 elsewhere. If he had full-time academy from another department, we could take that and use that. We just had that last employee, he came in from, he had it from Maryland, he had the same thing, but because it's the call vol 1-2, it's not the full-time academy.
Is that something we can look to in the future that makes, you know, what I find difficult is we have somebody that's experienced 2, 3, 4 years, and we're starting over as far as training. He's already had it all. Is that something we can look at maybe in the next contract?
And as part of the current agreement, the current contract is up for the remainder of this year, but there's certainly something that as we could review with the chief and the town council at the time appropriate for that.
Okay.
Probably because it was Coleman, not a full-time. If it probably full-time, maybe they look at it different way, that have to go to the academy, but because of part-time or Coleman, I think that's why for, what do you call that, liability for the town maybe? We need a training, that's probably what it is, I'm not sure.
I just like the fact of having a unilateral transfer like the police have. We have a gentleman who come right in and start the job because of his experience and all that. And so it'll just make it a little bit better and easier for the town.
I certainly understand because there are individuals that have come from other departments that could have been a full-time firefighter in that town for a number of years, and you know, if there's no training. So I do get it. We've had this conversation for the last couple of years, so it's something that we can discuss
Okay.
at a future.
Thank you.
Councilor Lazo?
Just as a point of information, I just found out some information, we're calling over here talking. George is sitting in to make the quorum,
Correct.
but he cannot vote. The only way it can be voted is if the vice chair, the chair sits in to make the
Well, then
quorum.
come sit.
Well, sure. We're looking at language, there's conflicting language actually in the rules and regs.
Right.
So if you'd like me to sit here, I will.
Yeah, take over.
You could stay. You don't have to go.
He's still talking.
He'll still talk.
Anything else?
I'm going to.
Anybody else?
Mitchell is here if you.
Yes, Mitchell is here. You will be here next Monday also. They'll be bringing his
Will have
family.
your speech written?
Okay. So, all in favor? 3-0. Agenda 6, review, discuss applying for the 2024 Emergency Management Performance Grant in the amount of $5,100. Motion to recommend to Town Council for approval.
So moved. Second.
Motion and second. Any discussed, Chief, Town
I'll
Manager?
defer to the chief because this is an annual grant that we've applied for and received. It's based on certain allocations, so the chief can elaborate what he's going to go for this year.
So again, this is a repeat, as the town manager said. This is a MEMA EMPG grant. It's emergency preparedness type of grant program. Every year, we've been over the last several years, we've been getting about $5,900. For the last several years, we've been buying the furniture to appropriate the furniture for the EOC, or soon to be the new EOC at the fire station. It's also to reduce some costs that we can get without using some of the furniture money on the town's portion of it. So basically, this year would be our fourth purchase. This year, we've switched over to doing the chairs that accompany the tables that we bought. They're movable tables that we bought previously. This is the chairs that will be in that EOC. I think it's a good use of funds because it is the grant itself does allow us to do things like furniture. We've in years past we bought bulletproof vests with it. Any training sessions that we want to put together, but I think this year is the best way to get the chairs. We'll probably do it again next year to get the full number of chairs that we need, and that will be about $20,000, maybe $25,000 that we won't have to spend up for the new fire station.
So those items, we can use them in that new station in the future. We don't have to buy any more or spend money if we're using that grant, correct?
Correct.
Any, George, anybody? Nobody? All in favor? Agenda 7, review, discuss the town manager appointment of Jonathan Delegado as a permanent full-time police officer for the town of Southbridge, effective immediately based on the police chief recommendation pending successful complete of all medical and physical testing as required by human research, civil service and state ethic in good standing. Entertain a motion to vote to recommend to town council for confirmation.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Ortiz, second by Matigny. Town manager.
Thank you. So, everybody's aware of the police department and the activity that not only the police and the fire, they both have very active departments. We've been managing an authorized strength of 40 police officers. We have the funding in place for this position. The chief originally was going to had asked if we would call the civil service list out of the new list that had come forward on the for candidates to put through, and obviously those candidates we would have to send to an academy and all that. He had an opportunity with an individual, Jonathan Delgado, and I'll let the chief explain his background. But this is a currently certified police officer of the Commonwealth that would not require us to send him to academy. That is civil service. And my recommendation is to go forward with this, and I'll let the chief explain the officer's candidate's experience.
So if I could, through you, Mr. Chair, just it's a budget and existing position. Right now, we have 39 police officers. This will bring us to 40. Unfortunately, even though we have 39 working, we only have 36 working. We have 39 on the payroll. One's in the academy, as you know. One is overseas on a military commitment. One's out long-term sickness. Every year in salary, I give back about $70,000 to $80,000 because we can't keep the staffing up to where it needs to be at 40. At no fault of the communities or anybody in the community. It's just it is what it is right now. This candidate, as the town manager had said, it's no cost for training. It's about $30,000 to send a recruit to a 26-week academy, another $5,000 in equipment and gear. So you're talking about $35,000 before they even walk in the door, another 6 months of field training. So it takes about a year of the process to get all this done. This candidate can start at the end of the month, or almost the third week of the month, due to a military commitment that he has. He's associate's degree in criminal justice. He's a certified police officer through Millbury PD. He had left the PD after a little bit more than a year because of a military commitment. He's been a Marine. He's still in the Marines. It's been 9 years now since he's been in the Marine Corps. He's worked in education with various youth groups. He's bilingual. He's here tonight. I highly recommend him. I think he'd be a great fit for our police department. And again, he comes right onto the street almost immediately with minimal training, and he'll be out in the community serving. So I highly recommend him.
Thank you. Any question?
I'd just like to say thank you for your service to the country and welcome aboard. Thank you, sir.
Anybody else? All in favor? Congratulations. Agenda 8, review, discuss the municipal local cybersecurity grant program in the amount of $89,162.40 to strengthen cybersecurity and reduce future cyber risk for the police and fire department, and entertain a motion to vote to recommend the council vote to accept the $89,162.40 grant. Tim, second. First, Councilor Ortiz, second, Matigny. Any discussion?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through you, I'll let the chief go through the additional information, but this is...
What's chief?
This would be Chief Whitson. This was a police department sponsored grant. This is a huge accomplishment for our community, given the amounts of data that the police department has, not only in criminal records, but criminal information systems and everything else. So I'll let the chief elaborate more on the grant, but congratulations to them for the work in applying for and receiving this grant.
So if I could, through you, Mr. Chair, we worked with the fire department on this, as most people in the room know. Back in March of 2022, the police and fire departments were hacked. It cost about $50,000 to get all of our data back. As recently as June of this year, I was here doing a transfer because of the technology, another hack, an attempted hack on the department. Of the fixes that we put in place back in 2022, caught it right away, and it cost $2,000 instead of $50,000.
Oh, wow.
So it was a relatively quick fix back last month. Again, this is ongoing. The state's coming out with new mandates, what I'm hearing anyway, at the Boston level, is for public safety agencies and the layers of security that they're going to need going forward. And this puts us in a pretty good position if we accept this grant to get to where we need to get to.
Thank you, Chief.
Just, if you had seen too, if you tried to log on to your Selfridge emails, you've seen that you have to do a multi-authenticator, you have to plug it. That's part of this
We all have to log in.
authentication and all that for security purposes.
Any discussion? Councilman
Thank you.
Kelly?
Just out of curiosity, are we currently doing any kind of training? Most cyber attacks come through email, clicking on things they shouldn't be clicking on, so I'm wondering if we have any training in place at this point.
Our IT department is sending out alerts to watch out for certain attacks and make sure you're careful on your emails and all that. I think we're gonna have to, honestly, I think we're gonna have to up our training a little bit more on that. Just over last week, I think I sent an email out to everybody because Keith Roberts from the Veteran Services got an email from me saying that call me directly for a secret squirrel conversation. Fortunately, he was like, hey, I got this. I don't think it's right. But every town is seeing this because I received an email from the town of Northbridge from the administrator's office saying, hey, something important. Here's a document that we shared. And the Northbridge, I think one of the police or fire, they were looking for some information on their contract. And I was like, hey, I called up the administrator. So really, we have to train our employees to be diligent to look at those email addresses and make sure they're not just clicking it. I would hope that maybe we could put something in place similar to where I worked in the private sector, where they would just do test emails and send them out to employees and then be like, you feel, do your retraining and all that. So I'll talk to the IT director as we build out our new security network and our network platforms.
I mean, these kind of things.
They're everywhere.
They can have a huge financial impact.
Oh, absolutely.
On any organization.
Yeah.
I think MMA has, I'm sorry.
You're done, Councilman Kelly? Chief, first.
So through the chair, to answer, so right after the hack with the police and fire, at the time, the town manager that was here tasked the couple of other people within the town to get through Maya, who was our insurance carrier. And they actually, we spent several hours on the computer going through that type of training, what to look for, the hashtags, the security signs. So we have done that, but obviously that was 3 years ago, and it did cost us quite a bit through Maya. And I actually have seen, even my admin has had this weird email just a few months ago, and she goes, "Oh, that doesn't look right. I remember from that training." So we have had training, but I think now we have a larger group of people, newer employees, so we'll have to address that again. So we have done it in the past.
Councilor Shinya, and
I
then.
think MMA offers a training on cybersecurity.
Yeah, we'll follow up.
Yeah.
Mr. Glavasher?
I know some people would hate me, but it might be tedious. Working at the academy, part of our monthly ethics, there is a whole thing on the security. And I don't know if you can just get that module, but it did everything that you said, never mind what to look for, but what to do. Like you said, doesn't look right, I call them. So before you click anything, and that's something we're required to do, because we have state emails. So I don't know if that could be put in where everybody has to get it. I know it's tedious, but one hack costs, what'd you say, 50 grand?
Yeah.
So,
I know I was at a Mass Municipal Managers Association meeting, and there was one community that ended up, and that's conversations that I've had with my staff, building just paper files and paper backup to, okay, if something were to happen, this whole town had to do everything by paper. So if we were in that position, like I talked to the fire chief as far as where's our emergency management plan, is it just digital? No, where do we keep our paper copies as well? So in case of emergencies like that, we have access to that point. So we are looking at that, and it is very well taken point.
Councilman Pingree?
Thank you, Councilor Joe. Yeah, I just a couple of weeks ago received a contract of some kind from the Munson fire chief, and I went right to Victor, and he said, "Don't open it." And I didn't follow up with the Munson fire chief because I just figured he's probably not trying to get a hold of me. So. But it looked like his email address, and they're really very sneaky. So everybody just be careful. If it doesn't look right, it's probably not. Thank you.
Okay, any more question? All in favor? Okay, agenda 9, adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Thank you.
Very good, Joe.